I got the horses in the back, horse stock is attached, head is matted black.
All right. Well, what's going on? Welcome to the second pregame show. The first one went really well, so I decided to keep the series going. I really enjoy this series. It's pretty much a little time before the stream that we're going to talk about the hottest gaming topics, and it could be from this past week, or it could be from any time in history. If it's hot, we're talking about it. And so I'd like to welcome you. Feel free to comment on any of the topics that we talk about. That keeps the conversation going. I like to encourage that. You have the list up here on the top. It's going to tell you all the topics that we're covering today. First ones are going to be the main topics, and then the following ones are going to be more so on the announcement side. So what's up, Chris? Yes, I have an update on Call of Duty as well. So with that being said, let's get started on the first topic of loot boxes. Now, loot boxes were kind of a hot topic towards the end of last year. They haven't really resurfaced until recently, and the reason why they've resurfaced recently, and I wanted to cover this in the show, is because it's very controversial. Loot boxes, a lot of people see them as gambling. I don't personally see them that way, so that's what we're going to talk about mostly when it comes to these loot boxes. But first, I'm going to give you a little backstory on this. I got some notes here for you. New bills have been passed recently to ban loot boxes. Not all of them, but some. Last year, the Netherlands and Belgium took a stand against EA, stating that loot boxes violate their laws on gambling. And if you bring it back to the US, we don't have official standings on loot boxes, but bills are in the works to ban loot boxes in games played by minors. And companies are making a stance against this as well. As far as Google, for their Google Play Store, they made a new rule in their Play Store that requires game makers to show the chances of getting each item in the loot box. Now, I can see where they're coming from in regards to banning the loot boxes in games played by minors, because that's using the parents' money. And as a parent, when my daughter gets as of age, if she starts playing video games, you know, Xbox, they store the credit card information. Apps on the games also store the credit card information. So when you buy something, that information's stored. So it's easy for them to lose track of that. And to prevent that from happening, I think that is a good, definitely a good stance, and I would appreciate that. However, they're saying that it creates and feeds into an addiction of gambling for young children. Now, I think that's hard to say, just because I think the children are more focused on the game itself. So it may lead to, I don't know if it'll actually lead to like casino gambling or throwing away their money on the lottery or stuff of that nature. But I can definitely see the protection for the minors. So I can kind of understand that. As far as going as far as to ban it for adults or to make it like a legal thing with adults, I don't think that's necessary, because I feel like as an adult, you have a personal responsibility depending on what game you play and controlling your finances. I mean, loot boxes are there for specific reasons. They're cash grabs, and if you fall into that trap, I mean, that's kind of up to you. I can honestly say that I've spent some money on loot boxes before in the past, and I know what I was doing. One of the most popular games I play, Rocket League, kind of works on a loot box system. Overwatch is another huge loot box system, and I think Battlefront 2, Star Wars Battlefront 2, which kind of sparked the debate on all of this, is a major loot box game. So if you look at this, there's a fine line I think we try to define when we're talking about gambling and loot boxes in video games. In loot boxes in video games, as far as I know, for in Rocket League, for example, you never lose. You always get something out of it. So Rocket League, let's go more into depth on Rocket League. You get a loot box. You have the possibility of getting a higher item, but you get one of the lower items instead. You still spent money and you got a lower item. You can then use that lower item once you have a certain amount of lower items and trade up to get something better. So I feel that you don't really lose in this case. In gambling, I think all your money can just disappear if you're not careful. So I think that it's a fine line, but I think it is different in the case that you don't really lose everything. When you spend money to get something, you're just not sure of what you're going to get, but you always get something. And that essentially is a very fine, thin definition of gambling. But I feel like the fear that they have that gambling in this sense isn't going to be as big as a sense of you walking into the casino and losing like thousands of dollars, unless there are people who actually done that on loot boxes, which I'm sure there are. But again, adults, I think, need to have a personal responsibility. If they put this bill into effect and then it becomes a law, or anything that they're cracking down on adults, I feel like that's just kind of bailing us out and not taking personal responsibility for your actions in this case. So we're going to follow this topic of loot boxes as they go. Just to kind of recap, for minors, I don't see any problem with it being controlled when they're games played by minors. However, with games for adults, I don't really see that they need to relegate that. I think we need to kind of take a personal responsibility when it comes to that matter. If you guys have any thoughts on that, feel free to drop in on the comments, and then we can revisit that section if you'd like. Going on to the next topic, and I saw Chris was super excited to see this topic here, is Call of Duty Modern Warfare. If you guys haven't seen the trailer, I recommend that after this stream, or after the pregame show, you go ahead and drop by and catch the trailer. Call of Duty Modern Warfare is set to launch on October 25th. It's important what we're looking at here. So I looked more into the game. Infinity Ward claims that this is a re-imaging of the old Call of Duty series, Modern Warfare series, which is, in my opinion, the best Call of Duty series, a trilogy, I guess is the best way to put it, out there. But this one is not in the same universe as the OG trilogy, even though it's a re-imaging. So it's going to be different. And that kind of puts me off to like, what happened? We're not continuing the story. I know we kind of had closure, but what happened to, some of the characters that left off? We're not going to be able to see much of that old stuff. However, even though it is in a separate universe, we do have familiar faces coming back into the fold. And one of the main ones that we noticed off the bat was Captain Price. Although he has a new voice actor, it is still the same character, Captain Price. So what I'm assuming here is that we're going to see Captain Price in an alternate universe, kind of like the Avengers cinematic universe and then the Avengers comic book universe. I don't know. So it's still Call of Duty Modern Warfare, but just a different universe in this instance. So we're gonna see people like Captain Price back. Hopefully we'll see other characters that we recognize. There's also going to be an all-female militia, which is pretty neat. You're actually going to be able to play as one of the protagonists in that female militia. They're going to have a single-player campaign. The progress from that single-player campaign will carry over into multiplayer. That is a huge one. That is a huge one because this last one, Black Ops, didn't really have a true campaign. I think a lot of people were missing that. And this next one is a huge one. The game will actually support cross-platform play. Now, there's a lot of people who speculate, keyboard and mouse is a lot easier to aim with. And with that being true, we're dealing with controllers here when you're on console. But I mean, I think the cross-platform play is just something kind of remarkable because Sony has pushed back and hasn't allowed it to happen with Microsoft in the past. And you kind of see them shedding that light on shedding that light and saying, you know what, let's give this a chance because, I mean, we're all playing the same game here, so it's really nice to have that networking going on between no matter what platform you play. So I think it's very neat that they're adding this into the Call of Duty Modern Warfare, the next game. So again, set to release on October 25th. So if you're super excited about this, make sure you check when you can pre-order your game and make sure you're checking out during E3. They're going to give no doubt more information on the game during E3. So you're definitely not going to want to miss that. Let's see. Chris, yes, we can play some Blackout after this, man. I updated my Call of Duty. If that's what you're worried about. Taylor said he had a gambling addiction. Oh, you did a lot of loot boxes on Rocket League. Well, how'd that end up? How'd you mind up breaking that, Taylor? And while I'm waiting for Taylor to respond, we're gonna drop down to the next topic. Nickmercs and Faze. So last week we talked about Tfue and Faze and what happened and all that jazz with that. Now it seems that Faze has lost a player and they gained one back. Nickmerc is a esports Fortnite professional, a really good player with a really good personality. He's got a good streak. I've caught it quite a few times. But he left 100 Thieves. He used to be on 100 Thieves, and they had like a falling out last week or like some kind of spat or fight. So he had a falling out with 100 Thieves, and FaZe Clan actually just picked him up, and he made the announcement, and it seems like he's super excited about it. Hopefully he read his contract thoroughly, so there's no discrepancies as to what he's looking for to in the future with FaZe. So FaZe and 100 Thieves, if you're not familiar with them, they're gaming organizations, so they pretty much get a bunch of gamers and streamers, professional esports athletes, and even just some people who are just really maybe not as proficient in playing the game, but who have that really nice personality, and they kind of get them part of their organization, and then they split the profits and they help them grow and stuff like that, and they sign them up for tournaments, for events and everything like that. So it's kind of like a talent agency for these gamers. So Nickmercs, welcome to FaZe. Well, welcome to FaZe. Congrats on joining FaZe, because I'm not part of FaZe, but congrats on joining FaZe, and I wish well to you in the future. Going on from what we were talking about with the Call of Duty Modern Warfare and the cross-platform play, I think this ties well into the Xbox Game Pass, and we already have that on Xbox. Now this Xbox Game Pass is focusing on PC. That's right. Xbox has been trying to not move away from console, but trying to merge the idea of console and PC and kind of bring it as one and create that harmony between the two. And I think that's really neat. You've seen that a lot now with their Game Pass on Xbox. They have some games that are play anywhere, which meaning you can have them on the Xbox and you can play them on the PC. They allow you to download a playable PC version. So a couple of games like that are State of Decay 2 and Sea of Thieves. Those are a couple of games that come to mind when I think of that play anywhere. But now Xbox is officially launching an Xbox Game Pass on PC, and it's said to have over 100 games. More details are going to be released at Microsoft's portion of E3. Game Pass subscribers will also get 20% discount when buying games, including the in the pass. So the game has to be in the Game Pass, and if you purchase the game, you get 20% off, and then you also get a 10% discount on the DLCs. Microsoft has also announced that it's bringing more Xbox Game Studio games to Steam. And if you're not familiar with Steam, Steam is one of the main stores that you buy games, PC games for when you're playing them on PC. I don't know why I had to say that, but you get it. So Xbox is pretty much opening their market now. So they usually just sold it on the Microsoft Store. But now they're opening up for more PC players to have access to these games if someone doesn't like the Microsoft Store for some reason, and they only go through Steam. So that's one of the neat things that Microsoft is also doing to expand their reach and within console and PC, and create that harmony. So I think that's really neat. I've taken advantage of it so far. Recently, about last year, I guess that's not too recent, but within the year, I bought a gaming PC, a gaming laptop. And the reason why I bought a gaming laptop is because I didn't want to lug my Xbox everywhere when I travel and have to hook it up to a TV and whatnot. So I got a gaming laptop that runs games fairly well. Hey, Mickey, thanks for those sparks. I appreciate it, brother. So I bought a gaming laptop that works really well, and I'm able to play some of my Xbox games on my laptop or play cross-platform games on my laptop and still play with my friends, and the portability is amazing. So I think they're onto something here, and I think a lot of people are benefiting from this relationship that they're trying to create. And last up on the list for what we're talking about today is Fable 4. Now, if you guys have ever played any of the Fable games, you know how excited I was when I saw these rumors, and I'll get into a little bit why I say that they're rumors. But Fable, the original Fable was an amazing game. I think it was Lionhead Studios, if I remember that correctly. Fable 2 was great. Fable 3, not so much. And then we saw the fail that was Fable Legends that actually never came to play. I don't know what happened with the studio or whatever, but that project just kind of fell through the cracks. And I'll just smack my mic. And also, we also saw they tried to do a mobile version of Fable, if I'm not mistaken. I believe so. Anyways, there's Fable 4 rumors that I have coming about, and why that happened is because Fable 4 was spotted on the Mixer listings. So that means when you go on Mixer and you search a game, you can type in Fable and Fable 4 will pop up, and that led people to believe, is Fable 4 actually finally coming? Because we've been waiting for this game for a long time. What's going on? It's also been spotted on the Twitch game listings as well. Now, the reason why it's a rumor now is because the listings may not be accurate. I read online that Mixer's database is actually draws from player.me, which is an online tool for streamers and it's also a largely crowdsourced database. So that information could have came from anywhere. It was leaked from a Reddit user that he found this on the Mixer playlisting. Now, I haven't given up hope for Fable 4 because Fable is an amazing series. Anyone who's played that will agree with that. But what we are looking forward to now in this Fable 4 is not the crap that they tried to pull with Fable Legends. I want a character development story. I want to choose whether I'm good or evil. I want to have fun emotes. I want to do quests, and I want to play the game over and over again. That's all we're asking for in Fable 4. Whatever you tried to do in Fable Legends, it didn't work for a reason. Let's stick to the basics with Fable 4 and let's do it right. My hopes is that with the new consoles that are coming out, the new gen consoles that are coming out within the next couple years or so, Fable 4 may be a launch title. I'm crossing my fingers that it may be a launch title because what a game to launch with. We're definitely going to launch with Forza. I mean, if you're an Xbox person, so that's without a doubt. So that's pretty much all that I had today on the list of topics. I'm going to head over to the chat, see if we have anybody else that wants to comment in capital. Oh, you see Taylor Taylor said yes, he's waiting for Fable 4. Yeah, man. Without a doubt, dude. Without a doubt. Fable 1 was I didn't play Fable 1 when it initially released. I played it maybe about like a year or two, but a friend was like, hey, you've got to try this game. And I think Fable was probably one of the first fantasy RPGs that I played. And yeah, it was really good times, and I have a lot of hours in that game. So Fable 4 as a as a release with the console, next gen console, I don't know, Xbox, if you're watching this video, or Microsoft, if you're watching this video, I think I have an idea here. Well, thank you so much, guys, for tuning into the pregame show today. If you like the show, feel free to like, share, and follow the page so you can catch us the next time we go on, next time we have a pregame show. We also have guests that we bring on the show every now and then to chime in on specific topics. So if you ever want to be a guest on the show, or if you just want to know more updates on the show, there's a group button on Facebook if you're watching, and we also have a Discord server that you can get to on Mixer that you'll be able to join. And the Discord server and the Facebook group are personal groups that server and groups that I've created that pretty much extend the pregame show. You know, we can share clips, we can talk about gaming news, and you can always pretty much find someone to play with no matter what game you play. So it's a little community thing that I'm trying to grow. So if you want to join those, you're welcome to. I'm gonna plan on doing some exclusive giveaways in those groups as well. Well, don't go anywhere because the stream is going to continue. So I'm gonna bring down the stream for just for a few minutes so I can switch back into game mode, and then we'll continue the stream with some games. I got the clowns waiting for me, Chris, Manny, and Steve. I think they're all ready to go and play some games today. So again, thank you guys for tuning into the pregame show. I'll catch you next week Friday, same place, same time, right here on Jaym Hits at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Stay tuned for the fun.